Hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Ask Jimmy Smith. Today, I am excited to continue my series on repricers. And today we're going to be talking about Profit Protector Pro. This is kind of a newer repricer from at least my experience, what I've seen out there anyway. I hadn't heard of it for the longest time. About the last year, it's been coming about, and this is April 2022. That's when I've heard of it. It was over the last year. But Profit Protector Pro is actually one of my favorite ones because I've seen so many success stories from it. So many people that just love this repricer. And again, I love Aura. I love Profit Protector Pro. I also recommend Be Cool and Inform.co, as I'll actually link my video up top for you so you can go to my overview of my favorite repricers. But Aura and Profit Protector Pro currently are my favorites. I've had some people ask me to do a breakdown on Be Cool, so I'm thinking about doing that as well. But ultimately, Profit Protector Pro is the one that is kind of exciting because it's got the coolest feature that I've ever seen in a repricer, which I will show you that as we go through the demo. And the purpose of this is to just go through a demo with you. It's not something where I'm going to be telling you, hey, this is how you should set it up or this is how you should not. So if that's what you're looking for, maybe I've done a video like that in the future, depending on when you watch this. But right now, I just wanted to go through what Profit Protector Pro is, why I recommend it, what it looks like on the inside. And I actually have a demo account. I reached out to Profit Protector Pro and asked them, hey, can I have a demo account for this video? And they obliged. They were very kind for doing that. And so I appreciate that. So thank you if they're watching. But ultimately, this is something that I wanted everyone to be able to see the differences between Aura, between Profit Protector Pro. If I do one on Be Cool or a different repricer in the future, as new ones come out, I'm going to do more of these as well to break down the software for you. So without making you wait for any longer, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start with the sales page and their main website. Also, if you are interested in Profit Protector Pro, I do have a link below. That is my affiliate link. I asked them for it because I have seen so many people be successful with the program. And it's also, if for anybody that's interested, it's bit.ly/PPP repricer. So pretty easy to remember, but it's also linked below for anyone that is interested in doing that. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'll share my screen. Okay, so as you can see, I'm on the regular sales page for it. And actually, you can switch between UK and the US. Whenever you do that, obviously, it's going to change the pricing for you and some of the layout of the page. But it's still, this is a UK company. And so ultimately, it's one that's going to be tailored towards that. But they do have so many customers in the United States. And I believe that's probably their main demographic for who they're selling to. But since they're based in the UK, they do have pricing for both marketplaces. As you can see up top, I've got the link up there for you too, if you're interested in using that. Otherwise, you can just find it by going to profitprotectorpro.com. And they're very easy to find and very simple to get started. Now, I'm not going to go through everything on the sales page because you can read that yourself, but I did want to go all the way down to the pricing. They obviously have customer reviews and some of the strategies that they recommend that they have pre-built with AI, artificial intelligence, into their software, which I'm going to go through those in a minute. But the pricing, it is a little farther down the page. So for the United States, this is based off of an annual pricing. So if you're paying for the whole year, you actually get a discount versus if you want to see monthly, you can select this and it'll switch over to monthly. But they are based off the volume of repricing SKUs that you have in your account. So if you've got 1,000 listings or under that, you can pay less money. If you've got up to 5,000 listings, you can pay up to this. And if you've got up to 10,000, you can pay an extra $5 a month for that. So each one is $5 a month more just because you have more listings. As far as I can tell, everything in here is the same between the three. It's just ultimately more listings. And if you have more than 10,000 listings, you can contact them, and they've got very good support. As I said, I reached out to them for a demo account to do this, and they're really nice. Additionally, if you click on the monthly option, it switches the pricing. So if you'd rather pay monthly, it is a decent jump in pricing, but it is still less expensive than some of the other repricers out there. It's less expensive than Aura, less expensive than Inform.co. It's less expensive than a similar portion of Be Cool. And so if you're looking for just a total comparison from a pricing standpoint, Profit Protector Pro currently, at the time of this recording, and again, this could change depending on when you're watching it, but currently has a very good value for their price. But again, I believe it's because they're one of the newer ones out there. I've had many people switch from other repricers. They've switched from whatever they're using to Profit Protector Pro and seen a big boost in their sales, and really love the layout of the software. Now, there are a couple of things that I'm going to give recommendations on. So let's go ahead and get into the actual software itself. If you want to see the UK pricing, again, you can click the UK flag up there. You can also click on sign up if you're interested. And they do have a free course, which I haven't looked at, so I'm not going to review that at all, but they do have a free course for you as well up there. So anyway, this is what it looks like whenever you log into the platform. Now, because this is a demo account, it's all in pounds instead of dollars. So for anybody in the US, just realize it's going to look a little different because you're going to have dollars instead of pounds. But because it's a demo account, this is what we have to work with, which is better than nothing. And so I'm very appreciative of that. But this is on the main page. Whenever you log in under the analysis section, it'll show you how much additional profit that Profit Protector Pro or PPP has generated by selling above the buy box for you. So if you're using any of their algorithmic strategies, this is where they'll tell you how much extra they've made you. Also, if there's an additional profit over the last 30 days, they'll tell you that as well. And then any SKUs they're repricing or that they're repricing today, it'll tell you that too. Additionally, there's some graphs, some nice things that you can see, like weekly overview and what marketplaces and stuff I believe that you're selling on, and then your sales for each marketplace if you wanted to click through and see all of that. But for the most part, I'm going to stick with the US and it's going to be in pounds because that's what I'm used to. But anyway, let's get into the inventory side. Now, in the inventory side, they've got a lot of good information. The layout is a little bit different than I personally am used to, than I would like to see it probably more in a spreadsheet type thing, but that's how I think. But I do like the layout because it's easy to see the picture. It's easy to see the thing, the title. You can copy all of these things. You can also change the price if you want to, your cost by doing that. Additionally, you can write notes in here, which is really nice. And you can see the history of the repricing. If this were not a demo account, there'd be more information in there to see. And then you can also click right here to see it on the Amazon page. And I'll get that to a minute, but I want to make sure that we do cover that because that's where the coolest feature of any repricer I've ever seen is whenever we click that page. Now, you can also tell it if it's a retail account or if it's a wholesale account, which is nice to know that, especially if you're thinking of making your reorders, or if you're trying to think of map pricing as well, if you have to deal with any minimum advertised pricing with your wholesalers or distributors. And then you can also see the different strategies that they have already created that you can ultimately use. Now, in my Aura video and in my other videos on repricers, I have talked about how I like to make sure to make my own strategy. Because we're very cautious. However, they have so many different strategies in here that I believe some of them might actually be more appropriate for some of you than what we do in our own account. And I've covered what we do in my book, Side Hustle to Full-Time Income, which is linked below. I've covered what we do in the course as well for repricers and the private Facebook group. So I'm not going to cover that here because I wanted to make sure to show you what Profit Protector Pro has specifically. If you want to build your own, I'll show you where to do that as well in a minute. But ultimately, this is where you see all the information. It should calculate the profit, ROI, your break-even price, which is nice to see, your minimum, your maximum, what the buy box is at, and what your current price is at as well. So you can see all that pertinent information here, and you can filter by what's in stock, by favorites, out of stock. If you've got things not in the buy box, you can do all these filters to see specific things for each strategy. Right now, I've got in stock filtered out, and then you can filter that as well too. So it's really nice to be able to see this information. If you wanted to search for one specifically, you can search for it there by title, SKU, or ASIN, and you can continue to see all the different ones that they've got and change the repricing strategies between each one. So if you wanted to use multiple different strategies, you can. Now, here is where the coolest feature is. And this is, I know I should probably YouTube algorithm. It would tell me to wait till the end to show you my favorite feature, but I'm going to show it to you now because it's in the order that I'm going. Once you click on this and it opens up the Amazon page, now because it's UK, it's amazon.co.uk. You can get the Chrome extension, the Google Chrome extension. So you have to use Google Chrome for this, but you can actually do the repricing on the page directly, which I think is huge because you might not always be coming from the repricer itself, right? You might be coming from Seller Central and you click from Seller Central and it opens up this page. Well, then on Profit Protector Pro, you can say, oh, wow, I actually do need to reprice this. If this break-even price of $391, well, then, I need to reprice this. It hasn't sold at all. So I'm going to reprice it down to there and click Save in PPP. And the save's complete. The ASIN has been updated in your PPP account. You can also automate the break-even and the min-max if you wanted to. And then you can change the strategy. So right now it says off, but I could change it to balance sales accumulator and click Save in PPP, and it will change it. Now, because this is a demo account, I didn't test this before. I don't know if it's going to change it or not in here because I don't know if these are actually tied or not to the demo account. But let me see if I refresh this. It did. Yeah. So balance sales accumulator, change the min down to $4. So it did update it. So I'm glad that worked. But yeah, it's really cool that you can do this here. So you don't always have to go into your repricer and update those things, which is kind of frustrating, especially if you're out and about and you just don't want to have to log into it. It just makes it a lot faster for you. This is the coolest feature I've ever seen, and I hope more repricers do it. But right now, Profit Protector Pro is the only one that does not. Now, the biggest downfall, in my opinion, to Profit Protector Pro is the fact that they don't have an Inventory Lab connection at the time of this recording. I believe, I hope that they work towards that, but they are tied to BuyBot Pro. That's BUYBOT Pro, BuyBot Pro. They're tied to that company, which is a competitor, I believe, of Inventory Lab. And so you might see that that's the reason why they aren't tied to it. If you do have BuyBot Pro, then it's tied into your inventory on that side of things as well. So it's a great software company. I really love Profit Protector Pro. And I've never used BuyBot Pro, but I know some people that do. And so either way, the biggest downfall is that it does not tie into Inventory Lab. So for those of us in the United States, that is a big issue because most people use Inventory Lab for shipments and tracking their inventory. But ultimately, that's not a big deal. And the reason I'll say that is because with your inventory, you can actually go to bulk inventory. You can do a CSV export from Inventory Lab, and then you can upload that CSV with the proper supplier and the proper cost that you pay for it. And then it will update all of that information in your inventory. Extremely easy. Takes probably less than 5 minutes to do. And they give you information on how to do this and what, if you want to use a specific strategy, there's a strategy ID. So it is a little bit of a, not necessarily a pain, but a little bit of a few extra minutes, but they give you plenty of videos. If you're using Windows with Excel, using Mac with numbers, using Google Sheets, tons of different options. And so you need to make sure, or you can do that in here through the bulk inventory management section. Additionally, you can download some full inventory CSVs and in-stock inventory and blank templates. So there's a lot of different options there. I do want to make sure that I show you over here under the training videos. They do have an account setup walkthrough that's very good. Strategy walkthrough, so they can talk through all the different advanced strategies that they have. If you're using BuyBot Pro, how it integrates with that software, and so many other options. They even talk about the Chrome extension for how you can do the on-page Amazon repricing, which I just showed you. Very simple and easy to use. And some other automations walk through as well, which we'll go through in a second. But whenever you're back in inventory, this is what it looks like. You can see the Profit Protector Pro boost. You can filter by however you want. You can say buy box lower than the minimum, and it'll update that. You can do all products, and it'll update that. You can do anything that you want and go to in stock, and it'll update that as well and go by that order. So very simple to use. Now, if we go to custom strategies, this is where you would add your own custom strategy if you wanted to follow something like I did, right? So I even tested it out before I did this, just to make sure that it worked well for me. But Jimmy's Strategy 1 is what I named it. And it actually kind of gives a description. And so I wanted to make sure that I put that there. But what would happen if you want to set up your own strategy versus using any of their preset ones is you'll just come up here and you'll click New Custom Strategy. It's very simple to walk through this, right? So if you want to compete with FBA sellers or merchant fulfilled sellers, maybe you want to set up a strategy just for merchant fulfilled because you do a lot of that. Or maybe you want to compete with all sellers and you click on next. And then what condition do you want to compete with? Well, I want to compete with new because I only sell new products. So let's just click that. Or let's say you're doing a merchant fulfilled one because you sell used books. Well, maybe you want to compete with all used books and you've got a separate strategy just for your used books. There's a lot of customization you can do in this, and I highly recommend checking it out. But again, in a minute, I'm going to go through, after we're done with this, I'm going to go through their preset strategies and show you kind of the cool stuff that they've got from an AI standpoint, an artificial intelligence standpoint. So after that, I want to compete against only new sellers. So what should they do in this scenario? It's a very nice layout. There's no buy box, and there are other sellers with your selected fulfillment method and your condition. So there's no buy box. It's a suppressed buy box essentially. And there are other sellers that are FBA and they're new. What do you do in that scenario? Well, you can choose. Well, I want it to go to my minimum. I want it to match the other seller's low price or their mid price or their high price. You can even choose that you want it to go over the break-even price by, $1 or something, right? So you can set that up. That's not what I'm suggesting, but you can set it up however you want. You can even do percentages. So you really want to think through these things. I'm just going to say, match the other seller's low price for FBA just for ease of use. So we can continue on in this dialog box, but you really want to think through it if you're going to do a custom strategy. Now, what happens if there's no buy box and there are no other sellers with a selected fulfillment method and condition? So you're the only FBA new seller. Well, you can say go to max price because that's what I want it to be at, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe you want it to be at a break-even price or at a minimum price or at a specific price that I didn't select there, right? What happens if there is a buy box and there are other sellers that you're competing against? Well, I want it to not necessarily go to that. I want it to match the buy box, right? For me, that's what we would select. Now, if I realize they made a mistake, I'll go back and say, well, I actually want to match the other seller's mid price and only FBA. So I'm not always the lowest, but I'm at least in the middle price. For me, I would probably put it at buy box. Now, what if there is a buy box and no other sellers? So you're the only one. Well, you can say go to min, max, or break even. You can match the buy box, which is probably what I would choose, or you can do a percentage higher or lower. If you have the buy box, what repricing actions do you want to take? Well, for us, we want to do nothing typically, but you could say go to min, max, or break even. But if you've got the buy box, some people want to increase it by a percentage until you lose the buy box. And so then it can learn, but we typically say do nothing so we can keep it as long as possible. Would you like to change the strategy once your product has been for sale for X period of time? You could say no if you just want the strategy to always be the same, or you could say yes. And after 2 months or after 60 days, I want it to switch strategy to an FBA algorithmic strategy that's super aggressive. You could do that. Or you could say go to minimum, or you could click back and say go to break even because it's been 2 months and I need to sell out of it. So you can do a ton of things with this. I'm going to close out of this so that you don't have to, you get how this works. I'm going to go through this really quickly so you can see what it ends up as. Would you like to change your strategy if the seller numbers on the listing increases? Yes. How many sellers to be on the listing? Well, if there's 15 sellers, I'm going to say go to or switch strategy to a super aggressive one as well, so I don't have to deal with the other sellers. Would you like to change your strategy if the stock falls below a certain number? No. Some people might say yes. If we've got less than 5 products left or less than 2, I want to be focus more on profit. But some people might say no. I'm going to say no in this case. Again, these are not my suggestions. Please take your time and go through it in your own business to figure out what works for you. And then you can say, well, what's your intention? Do I want to aggressively pursue sales? Am I happy to share the sales, protect my profit, or am I profit focused? I'm going to go with the middle option, right? And the reason it says the question helps to build the personal strategy in the best way where occasions occur with conflicting scenarios. So there's still some artificial intelligence within this Repricer, even though you built it. You can name it and then you can describe it. So I'm going to say Jimmy 2, and we'll just go with that, Jimmy 2. All right. So then next, after we're done with that, you can set it up however you want. Now that we've got these 2 different strategies and it was saved, you can see both of these. Well, we can actually go back. First off, you can click on this to see all of the different things that you selected. If you click on that little info, or you can click this to edit it, or you can click this to delete it. You can also make them active or inactive. But if I go back to inventory, again, this is a demo account. So let's see if it's here. Yep. Jimmy strategy 1 and strategy 2. Hold on a second. I don't think it was showing on the screen. Jimmy's strategy 1 and strategy 2. So those are down there. And also the test one is there too. So you can choose between those for specific products if you want. Typically, I like to select one and keep it there, but since you can automate it, it's pretty cool to do that. We'll come back to this in a second. Now, there are other strategies here, and they give you the explanation for all of these, right? So with the super aggressive one, it's a lot of sales and less focused on profit, but they give you all the information. Personally, I would read through all of these and decide what you want. Aggressive sales generator versus the super aggressive dominator, the balanced sales accumulator. I'm more of a cautious person, so I'd probably pick this one or the cautious sales enhancer because I want more profit and I'm okay sacrificing some sales. But if for whatever reason, that's why I liked after 2 months, let's switch it to a super aggressive dominator so that it can get the buy box. It's going to be competing within your minimum price and maximum price, but ultimately it gives you that ability to do that. And so it's pretty cool that they've got all these strategies for you that are really high profit, low sales, passive profit maximizer, and it gives you a great description of all of these things. Then it also has pre-built ones where you're just matching the buy box. It's not algorithmic, and they go through all of those. And then lastly, they have algorithmic ones for used goods or books. That's pretty cool. You don't have to make your own. Algorithmic ones for merchant fulfilled aggressive sales and merchant fulfilled balanced sales. And they take into account the postage costs from your migrated shipping template. So kind of cool that they can do that. Merchant fulfilled, cautious sales, basically all the ones that they had above for FBA, they've also got them for merchant fulfilled. So if you are competing on merchant fulfilled products, you've got the abilities to do that. All right, now let's go to the automations. I know we're going through a lot, but I think it's important for you to see this before you sign up for any repricer. You can compare this to the Aura one. You can compare this to any other repricing videos that I do. Within the automations, you've got a lot of cool features and functionality. You can either use the wizard where it's asking you questions, or you can use this flow. And so I'm just going to click the flow one so you can see this. But let's say under this, I want to say, well, when there's no sales that have occurred for, let's say 2 months, when there's no sales, and this is for all the listings. So after you've got this, no sales have occurred for 2 months and it switches the strategy to the aggressive sales generator. You can also add new conditions as well. If you want it to say, well, after the automation has been active for a certain amount of time, we want it to switch to a different thing, right? Or we want to lower the price to our minimum only because, so let's say after the automation has been active for, let's just go with 1 month. We want it then to go to our minimum, right? So after you set up, after 2 months, it switches there. But after the automation has been active for another month, then we want it to just go to our minimum and not deal with that, right? So you've got that option as well. You can set up multiple conditions. I highly recommend checking out their training videos on automations because they are, you can do a lot with them. You can also click into this and use their wizard. So what should happen for this automation to activate? And it just walks you through versus you having to use that little dialog box from earlier. So they're all the same questions, but after, let's just say the number of sellers increases to 15, and that's just a number, it doesn't automatically mean this is what you should do. I'm just giving you the example. I want it to switch our strategy to FBA super aggressive, or I want it to go to our minimum price. And you can say, no, I don't need to add any other condition. And then you can name it and describe it and just say, 15 sellers. Automation. And it gives you an automatic description because of the way that you did it. So you can see that this is exactly what it does. When seller numbers increase to 15, go to min. So that's a very good thing to have. It'll just do that automatically for you if you want. If you ever want to delete it, you can also do that as well, or you can inactivate it if you don't want it to do that anymore. So that's how the automations work. Again, there's so many different things you can do with automations. You got to be careful to make sure that they're all set up right. I covered that in the Aura video. There's automations there that if you set up in the wrong way, they're just not going to work how you expect them to. So please make sure that you're double checking on how these work. I showed you how to do the bulk inventory uploads, to upload your minimums and your maximums, and to also upload your suppliers and costs. You'll just click this button and upload it from there. And then also you can go to, like I said, training videos to see those, FAQ if you need that. And then under the account, you can look at min and max automation. Now you can set it up to where it'll automatically calculate your minimum prices and your maximum prices. In my Aura video, I talked about how I don't like doing that because with replens specifically and arbitrage, there's so many different sellers that can come on. There's so many different variables that can happen. Let's say a typical ROI for a product is 300%. Like you pay $1 and you make $3. Well, if your minimum is set at 40% and some rogue seller comes in and drops it down and they had 2, and you sell at that price, well, that can be a dangerous thing because then you just lost out on a few dollars per sale. Or let's say you've got your maximum price set at 200% ROI as the max, but you're typically making 300 or 400% on a product that cheap. You've got to be very careful to make sure that you're not just shooting yourself in the foot, so to speak. So that what we do is we apply manual minimums and maximums. And so under bulk inventory, we would upload our minimums and maximums. Our minimums are typically $1 less than our current price, and our maximums are $4 more than our current price, because we know when we're buying based off of the buy box that we see on Keepa. And so it's very important to make sure that we know that we're buying very well. We're very consistent in how we buy, so we can be a lot tighter with our restrictions, and then just evaluate them as we go along if they aren't selling for whatever reason. So that's my suggestion. If you like to have the automatic mins and maxes, it would really speed up your process. You don't have to do this, but it takes about 10 minutes for us to do the min and max uploads in our other repricers or other repricer as well. Actually, probably more like 5 minutes to do that calculation pretty much automatically within a Google Sheet or Excel sheet to do -1 and +4 of our current price. Then we re-upload it, and it updates all the mins and maxes. Additionally, under here, you can do break-even settings where you can see, okay, what else goes into break-even? So whenever you set a price to break-even, for instance, you can set up, well, there's a prep fee of this amount. There's a bundle prep fee of this amount. So if it knows it's a bundle, now there's an extra fee of X amount, right? If you've got those, or a percentage or shipping costs. So there's different things that can go into this. Highly recommend checking this out. Additionally, the ROI calculation. We go with method 1, but they have a bunch of different options. I go with method 1 because it's the most consistent for us, but everyone's going to have a different viewpoint. This is just the one that we go based off of, but at least wanted to show you that. And then lastly, you can get into your Amazon settings and your subscription settings in your account. So that is the overview of Profit Protector Pro. There's so much information in here that you can utilize in your business. I really highly recommend Profit Protector Pro. You can, again, access my affiliate link down below. But I did this because I wanted people to see the inside workings of how this repricer looks. You can compare now between Profit Protector Pro and Aura and any other repricing videos I do in the future to check out their software programs, because I think that will help you to make the best decision. Again, my favorite feature on a repricer is the Google Chrome extension that Profit Protector Pro has, because I think that really speeds some things up. If you're looking at your Seller Central and you click into a listing, and then you can do the repricing there. You don't have to have multiple tabs open and search the ASIN or the SKU. You can just do it on that page. But ultimately, Profit Protector Pro has a ton of features. It's a little newer. It is a little cheaper, and there's a little bit more work involved because you have to upload your mins and maxes, but I highly recommend it as of this time. And my affiliate link is bit.ly/PPP repricer. If you have any questions, please post them below. You don't have to use my affiliate link. Just search profitprotectorpro.com. It's not an insult to me. I just want to put it out there at least. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it helps you. Please comment below with your questions on PPP or any other repricers. If you want me to break down other repricers as well, that's where I got suggestions for Be Cool. So I will probably do a video on that in the future because I know a lot of people wanted me to break that down as well. If you want me to go any deeper on Profit Protector Pro and some of the automations and strategies, please let me know that too, because I'm happy to do those things as well, especially since they gave me a demo account to use, which is really nice of them. Thank you again to Profit Protector Pro if they see this. But yeah, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. If the button is red, please hit the subscribe button so that you can get notified of new videos that I do on everything e-commerce and Amazon and business related and money topics. I've done a bunch of different things on this channel. So please check it out and subscribe. Thank you so much again for watching this video. I hope that this helps you. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a blessed rest of your week.